Keeping your bike in shape can save you a lot of time, money, and headaches in the long run. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com. And today we'll be learning more about the importance of bike maintenance from the folks at Cycle Tours Montreal and Training Mobs. Tell us why it's important to maintain our bikes.
Safety. Obviously when you take your bike out, sometimes you're just going down to the shops, sometimes you're going out for a training ride. But whatever the scenario, you want to make sure that your bike is going to operate smoothly, and obviously you're going to be able to stop and be nice and safe when you're out there riding in traffic and that kind of thing. The second reason is probably because of longevity. You want to make sure that your bike is going to last as long as possible, and the more often you maintain your bike, the less frequently you need to pay for significant, maintenance on your bike.
How do you check for wear and tear on your bike?
There's a few simple things you can do. The first thing you do is a bit of a visual inspection. So take a good look at the tread, make sure it's not bald. Another thing you can do is the little the handlebar test. So squeeze the brake levers and see if the brake lever goes all the way back to the handlebar. If that happens, you're going to need to take a look at your brakes. Another thing you can do is just take a quick look at your chain. Sometimes folks stop riding their bikes over the winter, and when they go to use them in the spring, the chain's gone rusty. Another obvious warning sign that your bike needs a bit of maintenance is any weird sounds that it's making as you ride along. Sometimes there's squeaking, sometimes it's a clicking, or any other weird sign that comes from your bike usually is an indicator that something's not quite right and it's not running as smoothly as it could.
How often should we be tuning up our bikes?
You should probably take a look at your bike every time you go out to ride. And then in terms of more significant maintenance, it really depends on how often you use your bike. If you're a heavy user of your bike, let's say you use it to commute to work every day back and forth, it's probably worth taking it into the shop for a good sort of maintenance session once every 3 months. But if you're an infrequent user, probably once a year would be fine.
What sort of equipment or tools should we have on hand to make sure our bike is maintained?
The first thing is you need a bike pump. Because obviously before every time you go out for a bike ride, you should check the pressure of your tires, and it's much easier to have a bike pump on hand so that you don't have to go down to a gas station to use their air compressor. So bike pump's the first thing. The second thing is a spare tube. What happens when you get a flat? It's quite often it's just easier to use a spare tube to replace a flat. To do that, you're going to need a set of tire levers. They're just 3 plastic levers. They're super cheap. That'll help you lever the tire off and basically make changing your tire really easy. And then the final thing is a little multi-tool, something that's got a few Allen keys and a few screwdrivers, and that'll basically let you adjust all the little sort of user serviceable bolts on your bike.
What kind of problems should we not try to tackle ourselves and take to a professional?
Anything that you don't have a tool for, basically, is a good rule of thumb. So if you've got your tire levers, you've got your multi-tool, that will basically help you adjust in a minor way, the brakes, the gears, change tires, and that kind of thing. Anything more serious that you're like, I don't have a tool for that, you probably need to take that into a bike mechanic for a proper look.
Is there anything that we can do to prevent problems before they arise?
Sure, there's a couple of simple things you can do. So the first one is making sure that your tires are always properly inflated. When your tires are soft, you actually run a higher risk of getting a puncture when you're out there on the road. So keeping them inflated is the first thing. The second thing is making sure that the chain is sufficiently oiled. When it's oiled, it'll last longer. Your gear shifting will be smoother for longer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.